Ahoy hoy, I'm NerdrageFred, and today we're going to take a look at Total War Pharaoh. New game coming out. We were invited to play a couple of battles in the preview build, and well, I'm just going to narrate through those and we'll see how that goes. And we'll just go through our opinions as well throughout what I thought about it. So here we go.
Finally, Ramesses III has cornered another pretender to the crown. You've spent many turns demolishing Seti's cities and pushing him out of your lands, but this will be the final blow to his false claim. Your armies have cut most of his forces down, hunting them across the vast sands of Egypt, and now all that remains are his most devoted followers. You do not have command of the full forces of a pharaoh yet, but your troops are still loyal and determined to fight for your cause. Some have been with you from the start of your journey. These faithful Medjai swordsmen have joined you from your bastion at Nebges. Others have been persuaded of your divinity. These lower Egyptian spear militia were conscripted from freshly conquered Kes, taking up arms in your name and illustrating the region's devotion to you. Regardless, all have been trained in your manner of combat and will follow your orders. Be sure to utilize their stances for maximum effect, giving ground to lure the foe deeper into your forces, holding your position or pushing the enemy back and pressing your advantage. The sand lies calm for now, but you know this land. Your gut tells you that it is unlikely to stay this way as grainy wind whistles in your ears, an early warning of an incoming sandstorm. Expect lowered visibility, speed, and missile effectiveness, alongside small wounds as the biting sands whips at your troops. Think carefully about if you want to surge forwards and press the attack before the chaos, or use the incoming sands to your advantage. Command your forces, destroy the pretender, and claim the title of Pharaoh once and for all.
Right, that was nicely narrated. Let's see here. Background's looking good. See, skybox is usually really good, but here it is a clear sky, so who knows. Models always looking good. The art departments, there's never anything wrong with the art departments in any of the CA games, no matter what problems you have with them otherwise. You can never really complain about those, can you? Lovely kopeshes and all of that. Over here, Medjai swordsman. So I was thinking, like, should I actually show all of the stats here? Because stats, personally, I feel is always kind of useless to show in these preview battles. Like, what are you supposed to do with those? It's such a alpha or beta build that it's probably going to be changed anyway. And the unit balance doesn't make any sense anyway, so it's not like you can compare it to other games, because it's probably going to be its own thing with its own animations and everything. Obviously, you can always see that, oh, this thing has a higher melee defense than anything else, and therefore it'll probably be very tanky, stuff like that, but it's so much easier to just check these later on afterwards. We still have the tier system there as well. They have different stances. The stances are really weird here, I think. I don't think the stances did almost anything when I tried them out. You'll see that I only tried them maybe once or twice, but they're just not that impactful. You're not gonna see them much because I just did not enjoy them. Usually I will play it like that, so I'll try something, and if it's clearly just not working, I'm just not gonna use it. Same controls as always, and then Total War, you know, just Alt, left click drag.
That's my command.
Move them up all information. Probably the question I get the most on any stream always. How do you move up things in formation? It's like whatever he wants. Alt, left click, drag. do a little bit of camera work there for a little bit before I realized that maybe I have to do this. You know, do it somewhat properly. The slinger is having way higher range. Not great. As you can also see, there's no one unit doom stack here with the lords. They are an actual units. They are the bodyguards. Very heavy dudes, really, really strong. Can still be killed. Slingers going at us. You can really see like the bloom and everything like that is really much like Troy. Like it is very reminiscent of Troy. So it's kind of understandable also that they did this one. It's really weird that they're not calling it a saga title, because this was obviously hinted at in Troy as well. You can pause as well. That's crazy. I always forget that you can pause, because I play only on Legendary most of the time in any of these games. So whenever I get these preview battles, I'm like, wow, this slow motion is so cool. You can do like the coolest cinematic shots here. So Egyptians will go for their bodyguard. We'll try to do a little bit of a flanking maneuver. Someone else is doing stuff. I have this one in there as well. And as you can see here, this is one thing that I don't want. Only is just a feedback I gave them, is that the skirmish mode is absolutely, like, I have no idea what's happening with this. It is so weird and so bad. Also getting a little bit of like weird stutter every once in a while. That is on the build, I think. There's times to off my stuff like that, but honestly, I've been burnt so many times now before that I'm like, I used to be the kind of person who said stuff like, you know what, they'll probably fix that. But now I'm like, yeah, hopefully they'll fix that at least. Because who knows? Pharaoh's doing just about as much as you would expect. But do not worry, we will have zoom-ins on the fights as well. I think a lot of people will be happy about those. They have put in the synchronized killing and synchronized fighting again. Here I'm getting a little bit frustrated. I'm not playing this in real time, by the way. I did record this like 2 weeks ago or something, and then now we're actually narrating it. This. Why did I wait so long? Procrastination, laziness mostly. But yeah, that skirmish mode will screw me over a couple of times throughout. Hopefully they'll fix that. Hopefully. Look at this. From what I saw, just about every single kill was a synchronized kill. Is this the best camera work I've ever done? Absolutely not. I dare you even insinuate that I try. I do actually try. It's okay to be disappointed. I sure am. Here I think I'll forget that they are not in guard mode or something like this. Nope, I'm actually on top of that. Fantastic. I even put them on there. Yes! Ah! Pure doubters.
Marksman, let fly! Set must be trying to bury us. I'm getting out of here.
Changing over to Sandstorm here as well. The weather system I really like. I really think those are cool things, that the weather will affect this. It can change once during the battle, from what I understand, and it's your job to kind of try to, you know, capitalize on that.
Marksman! Archers, loose! Arrows away! The gods chosen! Spears! We must retreat! I'm getting out of here!
Look at that Sandstorm. A little bit glowy weapons there. And we got a victory. Easy peasy. This was actually the easy battle, so if this would have been hard, I would have had to give up my Total War Legendary driver's license. There's no such thing, boss. If there was, I would have to give it up. You've got a rematch battle there. Well, bussin'. I love those. You say you don't like them, but that's because you hate joy. Probably don't like ice cream either. Anyway, onwards towards the next battle.
Much blood has been shed for this title, and nobody is more deserving of the Pharaoh's crown than you, especially not outsiders. These Hittites have sailed far and gather at your borders, waiting for the right moment to strike and take your head. But a pharaoh does not wait. A pharaoh acts. And so you will meet these invaders with bronze and blood before they take a single step further into Egyptian land. Your land. These are the troops who believe in your cause, in your divinity, and they will die for their pharaoh. Some you will recognize. They stood with you as you struck down Seti. But your new title has attracted fresh faces. These Upper Egyptian mace axe warriors from Waset are better armored and well-trained, ready to fight in your name. Do not forget that their armor will slowly break in the melee, so use them to defend your most vital positions. And swiftly destroy any armor that your opponent flaunts. Watch for enemy attempts to draw these heavier troops into the mud. Their weighty armor will limit their capabilities there. While the scouts have informed you that the rain will be light, you know better. You have foreseen that the gods themselves will come to watch you smite the invaders. Their righteous thunder will strike as you swat them down. Be careful not to lose yourself in zealous fury, and remember that everyone on the battlefield will fear the wrath of the gods. Use your abilities to calm your troops' nerves when they waver. Specialists in ranged combat will find it harder to pick out distant targets, but perhaps if we were to utilize their flaming arrows, then already trembling foes will flee in terror. These invaders will be driven back today. The Pharaoh demands it.
Another glorious speech, a little cinematic. Wasn't sure I was gonna put those into the video actually, because I mean everybody else is gonna have them in anyway, so you can always watch them if you want somewhere else, I guess.
Prodigy of war, in Ra's name.
Here at least we get chariots. Our chariots as OP as they were in Troy. Believe it or not. No, they're definitely not. They're pretty good though. They're like as good as they probably are now in Troy. It's the same studio in Bulgaria that's making these. So it's not like super strange that they would have similar balancing, right? It's a little bit of a harder battle this time around. But it should be fine. As you can see here, I put on a stance on these dudes. It was like they were supposed to retreat a little bit. And that they are already. So they're not going to fire anything at all because of that. So I'm not really sure why you would have that on archers, I guess. Because they're already like slightly retreating. I thought it was going to be like a skirmish mode kind of thing. It makes sense that they would start like moving backwards. Taking a step backward and trying to defend all the time. I wasn't paying attention too much. Unfortunately, I play these battles incredibly half-heartedly because I've actually not been like super hyped for this game. It felt like it was one of those games that is probably going to be fairly good, but it's not going to blow anything out of the water. It's not going to be like one of the fan favorites, you know. Troy was alright. Troy wasn't bad or anything like that. It just wasn't, you know, a main game. Which is fine. Not everything needs to be 100% the best thing in the world.
Fight for Pharaoh! For Egypt!
But it would have been nice to have it a little bit better. As you can see here, the stances are just so weird. How they, like, why would they have that on these archers, right? By the way, this is, believe it or not one of those, like, negative kind of previews where I'm just gonna hate on everything here. It's just that I don't know. I wasn't just hyped for this title in particular. It's not a bad game. I will go into it more how hyped and what I'm like what I would rate the battle, so to say. Try to put him into another stance there, and as you can see, it didn't do much. It drove straight through it. So I'll take my my fancy chariots here and go and counter that. These dudes, I cannot use any of the other stuff that these dudes have been using. I guess no one on stances, no the skirmish modes. They plain don't work here.
Strength is power. Spill blood. Javelins away.
And that's how it is sometimes in these preview builds. Which, once again, hopefully it will be fixed.
On my lead.
This is actually the second time I did this battle.
Into position.
Because,
Move as one.
like I said, I played these very half-heartedly. It was one of those days where I had actually forgotten we were going to get access to this one even. And that should say a lot about how hype I was for the game.
I'm getting out of here. Glorious combat. Marching on. Swordsmen. Strike.
I know this isn't the cleanest battle, but it's going pretty alright. Now I think I'm trying to tie up the spearmen because I do not want the spearmen on the chariots. Anti-large is still very good versus large units and chariots. One dude might be caught there. Yeah, he gets caught. Trying to get down away anyway. Gets to the back line. Messes up the AI a little bit. Fairly common in Total War games. Can't really say that that's something with this build.
We aim true. Throw your javelins.
And getting the javelins in there. Javelins always very fun once you actually get to flank with those.
Spears. Eager for battle.
The chariots going pretty ham on the back line. That is usually what cavalry is supposed to do in chariots. Let's go into the back line, mess up everything in the back line. After that, you can fix up everything else. By fixing, I definitely mean the Sicilian way of like, hey, let's fix him up. Well, kind of, you know, you go in and see where things aren't anti-large, and you ram straight into that, and you kill off literally everything that you can, wherever you can, and until at a certain point the morale will be so low that you can go into anything at all. Just weird formations here. These dudes were so hard to kill. I definitely used the Sun Tzu's nice rule there of if there's... Oh, look at that. Somebody teleported around. That's nice. Sun Tzu's really nice rule of if something is too difficult on a battlefield, if something is just an obstacle that you have trouble fighting or moving, then you fight everything else. So I'm just gonna lock those dudes down with my dudes who's just gonna tank them, and just gonna focus on everything else. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. One day I'm thinking maybe I should just play a campaign, just read straight from the Art of War constantly. Look at that, them sync there. Fantastic. Look at them blocking and parrying as well. Amazing. I think it was in that scene I was thinking as well, just like I am now. It's like, man, it's a shame they always have to have this blood DLC. Why can't it just be in from the get-go?
To bloodshed. Infantry moving.
Oh yeah, for bloodshed you said, like the character says in the battlefield straight away. Okay then, buddy.
coward! Javelins ready! Soldiers move! Strength is power! Never back down! Destined for victory!
Yeah, we're going to lock this one down very soon.
War is my calling.
You know what? Now that I watched this, I'm thinking maybe I should have just record everything from a replay instead, and just try to do cool cinematic shots constantly. But I don't have that much time also in the day to do stuff like this. Well, maybe I can. You always have a little bit more time.
Warrior of
You can
faith,
say what you want though, but at least the Troy grass is back.
on the move.
That's the most important bit.
I'm getting out of here.
Troy grass is probably the best video game grass ever. Period.
Move us one.
You might think, nerd, is that really rice?
Behold my
Yeah,
grace.
there's no other game that actually has better grass, like video game grass. The grass fix of Troy is literally unbeaten. You can stomp through it, like the bloody trails. It's just amazing. I really like graphics, man. I grew up poor. I didn't have like a good computer. I would still like put everything up on max and play it at 15 FPS just because it looked shinier and cooler.
It is done. The gods chosen.
Which means that I still play stuff at like 40 FPS and I still think that looks completely fine. So maybe you see like some weird hitching here and there. I mean, my 3080 can handle the preview build maybe. Maybe it's still recording. Yeah, I think actually it's the preview build.
Spill blood. Javelins. Soldiers, move. On the march. Javelins, away. I cannot keep fighting. On my lead.
Easy peasy, first try.
For battle.
It wasn't actually the first try. I lost this one once because I was just not paying attention at all. My king died. I say lost, I could have still salvaged it, but as soon as he died, I just didn't want to do it anymore. Okay, onwards towards the next battle.
Your towns burn, your people flee, and your troops tremble. The Sea Peoples arrived with little warning and have brought only bloodshed in their wake. Your kingdom is on its knees, but that ends today. Here in Menefer, Egypt takes its stand. Win or lose, the Sea Peoples will learn that Egypt will not blindly accept its destruction. You are chosen by the gods, and the gods will be judging you as you repel the invaders, or die trying. You are not making this final stand alone. Joined by some of the finest troops that Egypt has to offer, this is your chance to wield the power of the Pharaoh's own elite personnel. Senini chariots and elite Medjai axe warriors are some of the best trained and armed soldiers your kingdom has to offer. But they alone cannot repel the hordes. Native troops from both Lower and Upper Egypt are here to defend their homes and families too. The destruction must end today. The streets of Menefer will be your battleground, and if the Sea Peoples breach your walls, you will fight next to the very houses that you have sworn to protect. Hold the key areas and deny them the city. Your troops sweat as the hot weather threatens to become sweltering soon, at which point fire will spread easily and your troops will tire more quickly, unable to rest from the relenting heat. You can expect your soldiers to fear the flames. Seeing their own homes burn is a terrifying sight. But for you, this is about more than any single building or city. This is about your legacy, and it must not turn to ash and dust on this day. For you are Pharaoh, and these are your people. Protect them, or Egypt will fall, and you will be forgotten.
Right, so we're at the third and final battle today, and it's also a siege battle. We see we got some elite Magi Axemen. I always just think of Assassin's Creed Origins whenever I think about Magi, like being a ancient Egyptian cop, basically. That was pretty cool. That was a good game as well. I am part of the dozen people who unironically enjoy those games as well. Here also we have the temple, which gives hit points. Well, it just heals all of your troops while you control this, which is pretty crazy. All these are that's a little bit of a super natural element. I did ask the devs about that, and they did say that it's to represent that they still have faith and like some bolstering of the troops, basically. I think we're just gonna cut to when I've actually fixed up all of the units here. And we will start. One of the best things about this is that the ladders, there's no more ladders that magically appear once you reach the walls. You have to build these beforehand. There's a little bit of moat, if you will, or a river around the city, which is very cool. Now, one of the really big things about this game, which will actually set it apart a little bit at least from the other ones, is that fire actually matters. And when you set fire to shrubbery, grass, buildings, stuff like that, it actually hurts them quite a bit, like more so than in Three Kingdoms. In Three Kingdoms, it was a little bit of a damage effect. It didn't matter too much, but here it will actually matter. It's also a little bit of a fun thing. I don't know if this actually happened here while we were playing this, but I know a lot of our other pals also managed to play this. Had the issue where they would just the enemy would fire arrows at us on the walls, but that would kind of hit the crenellation, like the little outcroppings in the walls. And that would just set fire to the siege equipment as well. So that was kind of wonky. Let's see if they fix that as well, or maybe that's just going to be a thing for these games where you try to bait the AI into just firing on their own stuff. Also say what you want about Troy, but Troy really had like really cool blood effects. It had the absolute best blood effects ever in any Total War game. Like when you were in these rivers. I started thinking about this when the troops were marching over the river, but if they died in a river, if they like, if you just had like a bloodbath in the river, the blood would follow the stream, and everything downstreams would also be colored red, which is really cool. Yeah, you can see the fire there beneath the wall as well from them. Where I'm trying to get rid of the ram. See if that'll work. It was really weird as well. Half of the bowmen there you can see in the corner. Oh, right, not anymore. We're actually facing the wrong way as well. I couldn't get him to face another way. It was just a space issue. Half of them are facing the wrong way, but half of them are at least firing, so we got that going for us. Like I said before, I wasn't exactly playing these in the most enthusiastic manner, which I kind of regret now. It was a missed opportunity for me, but that's how life is sometimes. You can't always be on, you know, even when an opportunity presents itself. Decent fire the sign. Fire. Decent sound sign, as always in these games. Right, we managed to save the gates for a little bit. Egypt. And I think it's about in a couple of minutes here where I will notice that. Oh yeah, you know what? We have 3 other walls as well to defend. That can't be good. A good thing here as well that I noticed was that when you shoot people that are fleeing and they die, they don't like jump around like they do in the other games like Troy and stuff like that. It's like they realistically just fall over. Got some fire inside the city. It's too much of a problem. So we can get these dudes down there. Like I said, some of these moved really weirdly. I was saving the chariots here. Let's see what we could do. I was thinking that now everybody's moving kind of where they're gonna be, so maybe I'll take the chariots out. One issue here with the walls as well is that you can only go up and down the walls in the gates, and you have to go through the little door as well. See, am I gonna move these dudes? No, wait, I didn't need to. I had somebody there. I didn't even see those. Wow. Which does mean that that the walls become much more dangerous since it is less for you to control. Obviously, you can also control it so it's actually better for you as well. Here, these dudes came in, so I'm just gonna send the chariots there because the chariots we're putting reserve just for this. We're gonna try to save the fancy temple there because the temple is very good. The healing is such a strong one in a historical game like this. And now the weather is also sweltering, so everybody will be a little bit hotter and tired a little bit easier.
Spill blood. Fight for Pharaoh.
Wonder if you take less fire damage in the water. I should have asked them that. I bet you don't. I bet you just walk slower.
Fight for Pharaoh.
So you see these dudes are actually taking quite a bit of damage from the fire. God, I love that fire. Ever since Kingdom Under Fire Crusaders, I've just loved fire. That game was one of the only ones I've ever played that really utilized forest fire as an actual fire. Like a legit tactic, if the enemy was in a large forest, was just putting everything on fire, and everything would die really soon. That was great. If you ever want to play a game that's just, you know, third person, kind of Dynasty Warrior-esque in fantasy, with more troop command, with just blaring heavy metal, that's just like kind of just gonna damage your hearing if you're actually using headphones. I mean, I recommend that game as well. It's cool. Look at that temple. The maps are always gorgeous, aren't they? If I'm ever rich enough, I'm gonna have those kinds of goats by the gates to the mansion. I'm never gonna be that rich, but you know, I can dream. Actually, no, I wouldn't. It's probably tacky. Maybe I would, actually. I don't know. If you're rich enough, it doesn't matter. You can just change them. All I have is my honesty and this cryptocurrency you can buy, I guess. Ah, the Fred coins. I hear they're doubling in value every year. I'm just kidding. Unless there's interest. Why would you buy that? It's obviously a scam, though.
Swordsmen. Spears. Never back down. You will know defeat. Stay close.
Their leader is dead. And a lot of them have been starting to break. You can see the little shattered skull over there. Really hope they change the flags. That was one of the main points that everybody made, that we just want better banners and flags and stuff like that. It just looks exactly like Troy. And it doesn't need to. Not with the UI. You just have better flags. So if you have two factions, you're never going to be able to guess which factions those are from the flags. Which is a little bit of a shame.
Swordsman.
There we go. We won. Easy peasy. heroic victory. It was not a hard battle at all. I don't think anyone thought that last one was hard. But sieges are supposed to be hard. Taking a siege, or taking a city and sieging something should be hard unless you're the Mongols. That is how it is. And what did I think of this? What did I think of the battles? You know what? I like that the fire is cool. Well, the fire is horse, I mean. Fire horse should always be a staple of all games. That it can actually damage them and hurt them enough, so it's significant. The stances I did not like. Not yet. They need to be ramped up quite significantly for me to even touch those again. The AI was wonky. Overall, this is going to be one of those games that's... I really hope they're going to fix stuff like this. I really hope that the campaign is good. In the end, I am a Total War fan. That's not going to change here anytime soon. By any means. But I can't say that I'm completely sold on the idea yet either. I know I don't do a lot of YouTube videos nowadays. I am trying to become better at that. But at the very least, I could present this to you. I'm always live more or less 6 days a week on twitch.tv/NerdrageFred. There'll be some more Pharaoh coverage coming here. I'm going to try to make some lore videos as well that are a little bit of a different style, I hope. And you know what? I'll see your cute faces next time. Thanks for watching so far, this far. I love you.